It's been a hot topic for you these last couple of weeks because it was fascinating when the one-win Ravens were the favorites. The Steelers overtook them for a minute when they were 4-1. But now that the Steelers are 4-2, here's what FanDuel has for the AFC North winning odds. Who's going to win the division? Baltimore Ravens plus 135. The favorites to win the division. Pittsburgh Steelers plus 130. Cincinnati Bengals plus 450. Cleveland Browns plus 2,200. It's very close at the top between the Ravens and the Steelers, then the Bengals, and of course the Browns, the long shot. So the Steelers still slight favorites.
Yeah.
But a 4-2 team and a 1-5 team, almost identical odds here.
That was the thing. They lost the game, obviously, to Cincinnati unexpectedly. They were expected to win that game by pretty much everybody. And you're like, well, immediately, if it was that close to begin with, they're gonna drop into second favorite again. And it didn't quite happen. It stayed very close. It is still remarkable. I mean, this Baltimore Ravens team, they've got one win. Their defenses look like one of the worst in the NFL, and their offense was not playing particularly well either before Lamar Jackson got hurt. And then, of course, he has been hurt. So, Vegas is still expecting this one-win team to be basically a coin flip to win the division. They are, 3 games back of first place in the division. But obviously one huge aspect of that is they get to play everybody in the division. Like, as bad as Baltimore's been so far, they haven't played Pittsburgh yet. They've got them twice. They've got Cincinnati twice. So 2 of the teams ahead of them in the standings, they account for 4 of their games. And neither one of those teams looks particularly, compelling. I mean, Pittsburgh, you might have said, okay, if they'd gone out there and stomped Cincinnati, sure. But they didn't. They lost to a Joe Flacco-led Cincinnati team. So you can't be massively confident in them. And so, the door is there for Baltimore to go on a run and claw this back.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action. Our old friends at PFF have their strength of schedule to date and then remaining. Baltimore Ravens, second hardest schedule to date, 26th remaining. And then you have a team like Pittsburgh. Where are they? To date, the second easiest schedule, 31st. Right? Just ahead of the Patriots as far as easy schedules go. And then coming out, 11th most difficult schedule. So that's why these things happen, right? When Bill Parcells said, you are what your record is, I disagree.
Yeah.
What your record is and who you played and how well you've played. Those are the best things that predict how you're going to do in the future. And so there's a lot of reasons, believe it or not, for optimism for the Ravens, which is this multi-year history of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and the offensive line and the playmakers and their defense playing good football and winning a lot of games. And they've absolutely underachieved to this point, but it should get easier.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're going to do it.
Right.
It's just we're laying out the odds over their next 11 games. Like, would it surprise you if the 1-5 Ravens went 8-3? Of course not. And that would get you to 9 wins, which might win the division if Pittsburgh starts losing a couple games here.
I mean, so they have a couple of, I think, difficult games left on the schedule in terms of a New England team that suddenly looks very good and a Green Bay Packers team on the road around Christmas time. So they might need to get a couple wins in the bank before you get to that very, very end of the season. But, I mean, the next run is Chicago, Miami, Minnesota on the road, Cleveland on the road, the Jets, the Bengals. I mean, that they could reasonably expect to be undefeated in that run, right? That could be 6 wins to add to this 1-win team. So all of a sudden you could be 7 and, 4 or 5? And things immediately look completely different. Like, you have a winning record at the end of that run. Now, look, Minnesota's not necessarily a joke. I mean, none of those are slam dunks. None of those are gimmies. Chicago's defense just looked fantastic. But just on paper right now, you would say that is a 6-game stretch that they could go undefeated in.
And they're coming off a bye now. Not that doesn't. The bye is always funny. It's like, oh, we're going to fix everything in the bye. It doesn't always work that way. But if the defense can play a little bit better and Lamar Jackson gets back on course.
That's the thing. Lamar Jackson is coming back. That should change everything. Now, Lamar Jackson was not playing well in the 2 weeks before getting hurt and was playing not well in multiple different ways, that's concerning. If this rebooted Lamar Jackson and he's back to being one of the best players in the NFL, arguably the best player in the NFL, MVP Lamar, I don't even care that the defense is a sieve and it's going to give up 30 points every week. They're still in every single game. If he doesn't, though, their season is basically already done.
The other interesting one is the Bengals here at plus 450, coming off that win with the Steelers. Now, so you've got the division win, which is huge, just to get back in it. And as the Steelers' schedule gets more difficult, the Bengals play the Jets this week, then the Bears, then a bye. They play Pittsburgh again, so you have that head-to-head opportunity. They've got some tough games in there as well, but then they've got Miami, Arizona, Cleveland to finish the season. And, they're just trying to buy time to get Joe Burrow back. But these next few weeks could make it really interesting for Cincinnati. And then eventually they need to run into – they've got this stretch, November into December, at Baltimore versus Buffalo versus Baltimore.
Yeah.
3 straight weeks. So that's going to be the biggest stretch probably for the Bengals. But we might be sitting here 4 weeks from now being like the Bengals are a game out of first place, or, they're within striking range with the Steelers, including their game in mid-November where they play each other. So I think it's getting interesting in the division. Do you want to make a prediction here? Who comes out on top?
I mean, Cincinnati's season, I think, will come down to the 3 remaining games against Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Like, if they win 2 of those, I think they're in pretty good shape to actually end up with a record that could keep them very much involved in the last couple of weeks of the season. If they lose 2 of those, and then obviously 3 in either direction is even more so. If they lose 2 of those, I think their back's against the wall in terms of trying to keep this alive.
All right, I'll say Pittsburgh pulls it off here, despite the vibes being low. That's what happens. Vibes are low here. Mike Tomlin's going to go and make Lamar look bad in one game or something like they do once a year. So we'll say Pittsburgh pulls it off.
Yeah, I mean,
because they've just built a big enough lead that they'll survive.
Yeah, it's the fact that Lamar wasn't playing well before getting hurt that concerns me. I think the Ravens have a real shot at this because if he comes back and looks like the MVP, they can go on that kind of run given their schedule. If he doesn't look like that, though, it's already toast. They're just not. Their defense is so bad that there's no way of coming back from this. So I'll give Lamar the benefit of the doubt and say he's coming back as the MVP, and that's enough for them to overhaul this.
Wow, get the Ravens.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?